This kid's fire.
What's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother,
Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Smash the like, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Everyone's getting into the festive spirit, man. But some people aren't, because some people are rattled. Yeah, bro. Nobbins, mate. I don't know if you're seeing this in your chats and that and on Twitter and stuff, right? But the 115s are back out. The oil club's back out. The Pep Guardiola's a checkbook manager's back out. Bro,
Tis the season.
I love it, man, because it means we're doing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They don't like it. They can't. They don't feel us, or they do feel us, and they don't like it. Yeah, I've not actually seen that myself, but it's good to see that it is happening. Because when we were bad, they weren't really, you know, those numbers took a bit of a decline, didn't they? As for the complaints and such, because who cares if you're not actually any good? But now we are good, so.
Oh yeah, the Pep's leaving. That's another one I should have put that in the title as well. That's another one that's like Pep's leaving. He's bored.
I have seen that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's the other one? That guy who's just gone to Spurs. One of our board directors.
Jumping ship.
Yeah, jumping ship before they get found. Oh,
just like Omar Barada. Remember that? Good times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. It's mad. But yeah, do me a favor, lads. Smash these likes up. Make sure you guys are subbed up to the channel as well. Make sure you guys are subbed up to Nobbins' channel as well. But mate, 7 wins on the bounce for City. We're looking good. I don't know about you, yeah, but I've been saying to the chat over the last week or so, even before the West Ham game, I'm starting to feel like pretty good now. I'm starting to feel pretty confident in this team. I believe that we're at the start of which sounds kind of mad when I say we're at the start because we're on a 7-match winning streak, right? But what I'm trying to say is I think we're at the start of the performances starting to improve and get to like a level where we're like, yo, because even though we've won 7 games, I don't think we've played like amazing in those 7 games. Yeah, I think like sometimes the games have been a bit. Obviously, had the Fulham game where we collapsed and that, but I feel like we're at the start of a process where our performances are about to increase. And the reason I say that, because I don't just want to say it based off of nothing. I want to give you some like reasoning behind it. Because I'm looking at the defense, right? I think our defense is massively underappreciated by rivals. Rivals still talk about our defense like it's crap. I think it's underappreciated by pundits. And I just think they're massively underestimated. I think we've got the 3rd best defense in the league. Midfield should that to be fair is where my biggest concern is currently is because of if Rodri doesn't come back, I'm not sure how long this is sustainable running Nico G into the ground. And to be honest, I think Pep's probably feeling the same way. Hence why he's giving Nunes a few minutes in midfield to get Nico Gonzalez off the pitch. But I'm happy with how the midfield is functioning to a degree. I think we get a little bit exposed on the transition and counter-attack still a bit like last year, but for the most part, I'm happy. And I think when Rodri comes back, if he can stay fit, I won't have any issues there. And even in the attack, Cherky's now settling in. Foden's banging goals in. Reinders, I know he's been a source of frustration for a lot of City fans, and he has for me to a large degree, but I do believe that he will come good for this team. And I think, you know, if he can just start scoring a few more goals, which he should do because he gets into good positions, I think people will stop talking about him. And Haaland's firing the goals. So I'm looking at the team, I'm looking for weaknesses, and I'm not really seeing too many. I'm seeing one in midfield, but Rodri's supposed to be back any time now. And I just think the performances are slowly getting better. And that's why I believe that we're at the start of City maybe really taking it up a level.
Yeah, it's, as you say, it's 7 in a row. I don't think we achieved that once last season. So I don't think we've done it since the 23-24 season, unless I'm mistaken. So that's a massive improvement already, which is fantastic to see. And you're definitely right that there's lots of people who are, is it the second best defense? Or there you go. There are lots of people who will almost, and it's, of course, it's fair and right to criticize the side and try to identify weaknesses. And I think that's part of human nature. But whenever I've spoken about it, like to like, let's say like non-City fans or whatever, it's like a general conversation. It's normally the same recurring theme of, oh, yeah, well, your attack's really good. Oh, but you look like you could get caught out defensively. My retort to that is always, well, at the time we were the third best defense in the league, so it's not like it's terrible. And now we are apparently second best. And I think there's this, it's almost like some football fans are living in, I'm going to say like 5 or 6 years ago, where you had to be like perfect to win the Premier League, if you know what I mean, where like if you slipped up even once or twice, then it's like, well, that's it. You can't win the title anymore. I don't think this title is going to be won by a side that accumulates points total that's that high. This is not going to be a Premier League winner with, I don't think 90 plus points. I'd be a bit surprised if it even hit to the high 80s based on how the teams are performing right now. It may well be more like mid 80s, which is what it was last season. So yes, City aren't perfect by any means, but I would argue that we don't have to even be perfect necessarily to win the title this season. Liverpool didn't have to win the title last season. Liverpool didn't have to be perfect to win the title last season either. They were still a deeply flawed side, and we're seeing some of those flaws to a degree this season. So there is always this demand of perfection around Manchester City, I think, because people associate City with the Centurions, domestic squad, getting high 90s points all the time. But I don't think that we're necessarily in that era of football now. So yes, we do have some flaws. Defensively, that is a weakness for us, certainly compared to our attack. And we could be tighter in the midfield. But this idea that definitely rules City out of winning the title, I think is a bit silly based on the competition in the league. And this isn't a diss at Arsenal, but Arsenal aren't perfect either. And Liverpool perfect last season either. I don't think you need that this season to win the title. So, of course, people will look at City's weaknesses, and they are absolutely right to do so. But also look at our strengths and look at the context of the surrounding teams in the league as well. You don't need to necessarily even be that given precedent and given the current state of play. So I'm still happy to say that there is a title-winning side in this squad somewhere, and I don't think we're yet clicked. I don't think we're yet near our ceiling. I can only really see it getting better, bar any ridiculous injuries, obviously.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, mate. And obviously, like, there are rumours that we're going into a transfer market as well, which could strengthen the side. If we do get that Semenyo, that news that's just been put out by Fabrizio guy, it's not really new. But yeah, apparently Semenyo is going to decide between Manchester City and Man United as a destination this January. But bringing him in, that's another player that you're bringing in to strengthen the side.
Are Arsenal and Liverpool not involved in that deal?
Doesn't look like it. Nah, doesn't look like it at all. No, I think Arsenal are looking at like a star signing for the winger. Right. Well, Semenyo's more like with due respect, to him, because I do think he's a good player, but I think he's more sort of like a rotational type player, isn't he? You know what I mean? Whereas I think Arsenal are probably looking at we need a fucking bad boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whoever that is. Whether they go for like Yildiz or something, maybe they go for Yildiz. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I just think that this team now is purring along nicely. And I put a tweet out on after the game, and it was quite interesting, right? Because a lot of rivals are saying the complete opposite. In fact, there was a tweet by an Arsenal fan that went viral. But I don't think, bro, we're anywhere near our best.
No,
Anywhere near. And that's what I put. My tweet was, I don't think I actually said I think we're a million miles away from our best football, based on what I believe. Yeah, but however, we're on a 7-match winning streak, and that's quite scary when you think about that. Yeah, how are we on a 7-match winning streak? And I'm saying genuinely, bro, you know, at the weekend, yeah, we won 3-0, comfy game, and I know West Ham are not great, yeah, but I genuinely don't believe we got out of first gear on Saturday. Genuinely, honestly, you agree with that, yeah? Because I don't want to sit here and be just glazing, yeah? I genuinely don't even think like we got out of first gear. I felt like almost the players just knew that, just keep passing the ball around and we'll win the game, and that's what happened. You know, we limited West Ham to a few chances. A couple of them we actually give them the ball ourselves, so we actually give them the chances in the case of one of the Bowen shots, but. It's interesting because I've seen quite a few rivals, yeah, say that they think this is City's best and that we can't get any better. And I just honestly, and listen, bro, I don't know because I don't have a crystal ball, yeah, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know. I'm giving you my opinion based on what I think, based on the way the team's playing, and based on the way the team's playing. Yeah, I think there's so much more to come from this City side. Now, I don't know. Maybe we could get worse. I have no idea. Yeah, I've not got a crystal ball. I can only give you my opinion. And my opinion is, at the moment, I think we're playing good football, yeah? Good football. But I think there's so much more to come. Why do I think that? Well, I'll tell you why I think that. Rodri's still got to come back into the side. You're telling me he's not going to help us? You tell me he's not going to improve us? Yeah? You've got still, I think we had 5 players on that pitch at the weekend against West Ham that were joined in August. Yeah? So again, you're telling me that these players are fully up to speed and are not going to learn the system and get better as the season goes on. Am I meant to assume that that's the best I'm going to get from Turkey? Am I meant to assume that's the best I'm going to get from Reinders? Yeah, and that sort of stuff. No, I'm not going to believe that. Obviously, I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to believe, that going forward as the season goes on, these players that join the football club and the team as a whole are going to get better, and I think they're going to get a lot better. Yeah, we're already on a 7-match winning streak. And then people do this thing. Yeah, I've seen other people saying, oh, yeah, but you've played no one. We played Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Excuse, yeah, but Real Madrid is shit. All right, so we're going to do this again. Yeah, I see. Listen, I've been in this situation before with these conversations. I know what people are like. Yeah, they come up with any excuse. Yeah, we say we're on a 7-match winning streak. They start chatting about, oh, well, actually, you know, Real Madrid are not that good. And it's kind of like, yeah, I know they're not that good. You still got to go there and win. Yeah, Real Madrid at their worst are still a difficult place to go and win the game. So, yeah, I just think that, listen, doubt us at your peril, mate. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't mind people doubting City because there's less expectation and there's less pressure. If we're apparently very bad, then who cares if we don't win the title, I guess, at that point. But yeah, I guess precedent does tell us that you don't rule out Pep Guardiola. You don't rule out Pep Guardiola's City, absolutely. Like, I think certainly the mainstream media in this country have done that twice in Pep's career for City, and both times he left them with egg on their faces. Yeah, if there is no way that this is the best version of Shirky, and he's been playing very well, by the way, obviously, but there's no way this is even close to being the best version of Shirky. There's no way this is close to being the best version of Reinders. I know that they haven't featured that much due to injury or other players just performing so well, but we can throw in Ait Nouri and Marmoush into that equation as well when they return, hopefully, from a successful AFCON campaign. If Rodri can get back into the side in around February time, then that's a massive upgrade as well. Even if he's only at around like 75% of his powers, that's still a massive upgrade on what we currently have, even though Nico's been playing very well. Nunes is going from strength to strength every single week. You tell me that Donnarumma can't get even better as a new signing as well. I think a lot of our players absolutely can. Doku is another one who sadly picked up an injury now. Why can't they? And the idea that, well, who've they played? You've not played well against this team, blah, 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 blah. But if we want to play that game, then I could say, okay, but Arsenal required a 94th minute winner to beat Wolves at home. Wolves have 2 points in the league this season.
The worst team statistically at this part of the season ever that's played in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I don't think that Arsenal actually had a shot on target that day. So if you want to play the Real Madrid a bad card, then I think you can apply that to like every single team in this league right now. So yeah, I think it's just I don't think it's a very sensible argument from those people, and just wait and see. If City are indeed terrible / they're definitely not going to win the league, then you don't need to worry about them. You can just sit back and enjoy the season, knowing that City are not going to win the title, and that either your team's going to win the title or a team that you hate isn't going to win it. So it shouldn't be a problem. If you truly believe that City don't have a chance, then you shouldn't be concerned about it. Surely, you know, I don't think that United are going to win the title, so I'm not concerned about them. So I don't really tend to talk about them in bad terms on my channel or whatever, because it's flogging a dead horse at that point. If you want to flog the dead horse, that being City in this case, then go for it. But you're not going to get anywhere because the horse is dead, allegedly.
Yeah. Well, listen, you mentioned a few times then about Ryan Cherky. He's obviously a player that everyone's speaking about. Another good performance from him, I thought, at the weekend. Obviously didn't get the score sheet and that, but was another top performance. I mean, you think he's going to get a lot better? I mean, how important do you think he is to our team right now? Because to be honest with you, mate, yeah, even though I expect him to get a lot better from where he is, right? Just because I think he's got a mad ceiling. Like, the ceiling's incredible. I already think he's very, very important to this Manchester City side. And the reason I say that is because, I look back at last year, and obviously Kevin De Bruyne was probably the only player on the pitch that could pick out Haaland or play the ball in behind the defence in sort of a tight situation. But obviously he wasn't at his best. He was injured a lot. I look at him and I think he's so crucial to that situation, playing the ball over the top. I mean, he does it 2 or 3 times a game, like these little passes in behind, the passes over the top. And when you're playing against a team that maybe is sitting on the edge of the box, it's so important that you have a player like that. And I think that's at times we struggled last year. And I spoke about this the other day, that when teams pressed us last year, yeah, we didn't really have players that could play the ball in behind to Haaland. So we were just going left, right, left, right, left, right. And then when teams sat back, we also didn't have players that could play like that, that pass in behind. So we were sort of screwed either way. With Cherky, I think that he just gets rid of that problem completely, especially on the low block situation, because he's got the ability to do that. I already think he's crucial to this Manchester City team, bro. I really do. I don't know where his long-term future is, yeah, because in terms of position, because I always felt that it's probably better in the middle because he's so two-footed. I don't really want him like on the right, because then you sort of limited him a little bit to his left foot in swingers. Whereas if he's in the middle, he can go left, he can go right with ease. But I'm not nailing myself to either sort of opinion on that yet, because obviously it's still early days and I didn't really see him a lot at Lyon, so I'm going to wait. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Cherky in terms of how important he is to the side? Do you agree that he's already pretty crucial?
Yeah, 100%. How many times did we say, like, before the start of the season or just at the start of the season, that the best version of this City side will be one that has Cherky in it? And that's because I rate him so highly. He is, like, I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it, purely from a volume of direct passing chance creation, he's up there with Kevin De Bruyne, like, based on like last season's numbers, for example, or just like the numbers generally. There's not many of these high volume players out there that can do it to this level. And I can't remember the exact data points I used, but in my Cherky analysis video, there's basically an X-axis and a Y-axis, and there's 2 players all on their own in the top right where you want to be in respect to these forward passes and chance creation numbers. And it's De Bruyne and it's Cherky both on their own. So yeah, he's absolutely crucial in that sense. He is able to create something out of nothing. He's helps make other players play better. I think that there's a very good reason why Foden is looking so good this season when Cherky plays. I think they both get the best out of each other 100%.
100% agree.
Yeah, so Cherky's able to create for Foden. That's why he's able to get more goals. And Foden has but also, like, Foden's is helping to unlock Cherky to a degree. Like, Foden's got the most what we call second assists in the Premier League this season. That's just a pass before the assist, basically. So the passing, so the passing you've often seen this season is Foden plays it to Cherky plays it into Haaland, goal scorer, whatever, City score. I think I did like a retweet of it recently. If you want to see the source of that stats to anyone in the chat, the account's very good. I forget its name, but I'd recommend following them. So he's definitely being able to be unlocked in this deeper role, Foden, sorry, and that's because Shirky's now able to be closer to the box. He's absolutely wonderful. As for position, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Sorry, excuse me, Saturday was the first time where Shirky's played out and out right wing. I'm going to say so. In previous games, he's played right wing technically, but then Nunes pushes up, or Bernardo rotates with him, and then Shirky gets access to the centre. But for the vast majority of the West Ham game, he was basically just isolated out on that right side. And that was intentional because we kept switching the ball to him. So it was a clear directive that we were supposed to start the attacks on the left and then switch it over to Shirky to isolate him, almost like we've done with Doku in the past.
Yeah, let me demonstrate this, yeah, because if you look at this is Premier League average heat map, yeah? That's Premier League average heat map, right?
Yeah.
And then this is Saturday. So you can clearly see a difference there. You know what I mean? He's not where like normally drifts into this sort of area.
Yes.
This sort of, and obviously at the weekend he was literally basically, and he went there a few times, obviously, but touchline winger for the majority. Yeah,
and he was still able to flourish. Now, of course, like Nunes was so crucial to Shirky flourishing, and I did an analysis video if you want to go watch it after the stream. But Shirky still was able to thrive in what is not his optimal position, which just goes to show how fantastic he is as a player. He was still able to create like the most chances. He created a couple of like fantastic opportunities to score, even though he didn't get a goal contribution directly. He was still vital in how City play. Like for that second goal, especially like the counter pressing that he did to win the ball back high up the pitch, and then we score from that situation. Those are the areas that Pep will want him to be improving in. We know how wonderful he is on the ball. Big up. It's all about for Guardiola anyway. What can the improvements be off the ball and out of possession and in respect of defensive work? And that's a massive step in the right direction for Shirky. So I can only really see it getting better. I don't know what his long term. I guess his long term best position is going to depend on what shape City opt for, and also how does he improve out of possession as well. Because if you play the 4-3-3, which is what we're doing now for the most part, you've got quite an easy role for him to play at right wing. There's not that much pressing burden or responsibility out there, and other players can cover for him, like whether it's Nunes or Bernardo. If you go to more of a 4-4-2 and you're asking him to press as one of the two strikers, then there's a bit more burden and responsibility there because you wouldn't want him in like the central midfield. So it would be interesting to see how he develops as a player, but I just can't believe how much money we got him for, given the quality of the player he is. It's ridiculous.
No, 100%. That was probably the signing of this season. And you know what? It might even be like one of the best signings ever in the Prem in a couple of years' time. We might look back at it based on the price and the player you've got for it all. But something that I always say there, because again, like I agree with you in terms of where do we play him long term? Is it going to be the middle? Is it going to be off the right hand side? But the one thing I keep on saying is we don't need to rush to find this out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's absolutely no rush about putting him in the middle of the park and seeing if that's it. Let's just fucking chill. Yeah, we've got him on a 5-6 year deal. It's early on into the season. We don't need to start panicking and be like, oh, actually, you know what I mean? We'll get him in the midfield. No. Just relax, yeah? Let him do his thing. There will become a time, yeah? There'll be an opportunity where you want to play him in the middle, yeah? Maybe Foden gets injured. Maybe it's a cup game. I don't know, yeah? But there'll be a time, yeah, that opportunity arises and you've got kind of no option. You just might as well do it anyway. And I think that's the better way of doing it. I go back to the start of the season when Pep was keeping him out of the team, yeah? And he wasn't playing him properly. I thought there was great management from Pep Guardiola. There was no rush to get him into the team. And now he's into the team. He obviously had that 2 month off with the injury, apparently. Yeah, lost a little bit of timber. And now, yeah, he's coming into the side and he's just a magnificent football player. And I think every City fan already loves him. You know what I mean? Because the way he plays football is just brilliant to watch. I even see rivals glazing him on the time. I've seen Liverpool fans fucking glaze this guy on the timeline. You know what I mean? Like, he's such a good footballer. Like, he's exciting to watch. He makes football enjoyable to watch. He gets output as well, which is important. And you know what? I've been sort of pleasantly surprised by his sort of off the ball work. Like, I don't think it's ever going to be like prime Raheem Sterling or Grealish, who them two were fantastic at working, getting back. I remember when we first signed Sterling, that because I just thought, oh, this guy's one of these guys. Never, and his actual off the ball work was very, very underrated, by the way. Sterling, yeah, he's never going to be one of those guys. Yeah, he's never going to be no problem though. Yeah, so long as he puts in a shift, and he does. You see that when you're watching him. You see it on the numbers, the ground duels and getting stuck in and that. So yeah, it's just a mint footballer, bro. Like everyone loves him. Everyone. The youngsters love him. The older guys love him. You know what I mean? Like everybody just loves him as a player, and I think Pep's gonna work wonders with him. And it's funny because at the start when we signed him, there's so many people coming out saying this isn't going to work. Pep and Cherky ain't going to work together. I actually
stupid.
I have the complete opposite opinion. I think this could be a match made in heaven. Yeah, I really, really do. Because when Pep Guardiola gets a player like that who's so smart, Pep will find a way of getting him into the team. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it's basically just rival fans trying to cope. Really, I'll be real. Leon, man, big up for the 5 gifted, by the way, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man.
I was just going to say, Guardiola infamous for hating players who express themselves. Players like Messi and Pedro and Xavi and Iniesta and all those beautiful players that came even before City. Infamously, he hates creativity, doesn't he?
Yeah, no. Big up Leon, bro. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, that's top. Well, this is the thing, bro. We're just literally speaking about this. Nobody really knows, right? Let's just be honest. Yeah, nobody knows. We've not seen him enough. I wasn't watching him at Lyon. Yeah, I don't think Nobbins was watching him at Lyon. Was you watching him at Lyon? Nobody knows where his best position is. Like, to be honest with you.
I did watch Lyon to analyse him, yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying like not on the reg, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't watching it week in, week out. The point is, yeah, I believe based on the player he is and based on how two-footed he is, I think his best position will be in the middle. Because I just don't see why you wouldn't have him there. However, I'm not in a rush to find out. Now I've told you before, Lyon fan told me his best position was on the right hand side, but that might not be the same for City. It might be better in the middle for City than it was for Lyon. So let's just see what happens, man. But so long as he's on the pitch at the moment, I don't really care.
Yeah, I would say that, again, go watch my Shirky analysis video if I haven't already done so. I would say that his best position is the one that we've actually already seen him in, and it's the one that I proposed in the video. It is, he starts at right wing off ball, and then you give him access to the centre with either with Nunes pushing up or with what we've seen with Bernardo swapping with him. So he's right wing off ball, but he's midfield on ball. And outside of the West Ham game, that's what we've seen. That has been his utilisation. It has been Nunes pushing up, so he gets access to the centre, or it has been Bernardo swapping with him, and he gets access to the centre. So we've already seen both variants in fairness, because one is off ball, one is on.
Yeah. All right, well, before we come on to some of this transfer news that's been doing the rounds, I want to speak to you about Semenyo. There was a player, I touched on him before, but I want to have a little bit more of a conversation about him, right? Because there's quite a few opinions flying around about him. Reinders obviously come in the summer, mate. And some people are saying he's been doing all right. Some people have been saying he's ghosting in games. He's good at the weekend, yeah. He's actually, if you actually look at his numbers are all right, to be honest with you, in terms of like the output. I'll just get it up here. So yeah, the Premier League has got 3 goals, 2 assists. He's got 3 assists in the Champions League. He's got an assist in the Carabao Cup. So he's got 9 goal involvements in 1,600 minutes, which is fairly decent. Where you at with Reinders? Because I actually think he's slowly starting to really settle into this team. Obviously, he wasn't starting recently. Pep was pulling him out of the team or whatever. But I actually think that he's been doing all right last couple of games. And I've always said, he gets a lot of chances to score. And I think if he starts bagging them, people will just get off his case, man. But what do you think about Ryan? How do you think he's done so far? I mean, we're 17 games into the season. You think he's been all right?
Yeah, I think he's been good. He's not been as good as I thought he was going to be when we signed him. I thought he was going to be like a plug and play perfect option for us. And he was very good in the Club World Cup, and he was very good in his first game. And then there was a bit of regression there. So I was wrong about how good he would be initially. I think overall, though, he's been good. Excuse me, he's been like decent to good, of course, and with a couple of great games thrown in there. He did have a tricky period. He was out of the side for a little bit of time. I think that he's been the main beneficiary of the Doku injury, because with Doku being out of the side, and Marmoush not being in the squad, that means that Foden has to play in Doku's position, which leaves an opening in the midfield. And we have literally no other bodies. So Reinders has to play there. So he's definitely been the biggest beneficiary of Doku getting injured. We'll see what happens when Doku comes back into the side, because I'd expect Doku to come back in and Foden to reclaim that place in the midfield. But it's his first season. And I think that he's been, yeah, of course, there have been some frustrating games, yeah. But there's no doubt in the past couple of games, especially, it has gotten a lot better. I think his movement is really good. I think that's the thing with Reinders. A lot of the things he's good at are the things that you don't really notice unless you're watching him rather than watching the ball, if that makes any sense. So like the way that he's able to stretch back lines, like he was almost playing as a second striker against West Ham, for example, and that was really forcing West Ham back down our right side, and that meant that Cherki and Nunes had so much space to run into and progress the play because Reinders was pushing the opposition back, and that's a little thing that you wouldn't really notice if you were just watching the ball and not watching Reinders himself. So he's really good at those moments. He's very good at running in behind as well. The general box play is really nice, and he is getting more and more shots and more opportunities. As you say, if he can just convert a couple more of them, then people will allow it, and people will go, oh yeah, he is actually playing really, really well. Thankfully, he did get a goal on Saturday. So, yeah, he's coming along nicely. He's one of the players who I expect will get a lot better as the weeks and months go by. He clearly needed a bit more time to embed into the side than I gave credit for, and he's still got a long way to go. I've enjoyed what I've seen, personally. Don't really get where the scorn is coming from, some of his performances, because there has been a lot of negative reaction to him. Like people asking, what does he do? Well, blah, 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 blah. He just needs to get better off ball. The dual winning isn't good enough right now. Of course, that needs to improve. But overall, I've liked what I've seen from him. I think he's going to be a great player for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think a lot of it comes down to we was expecting him, and I think rightly so, to sort of, I agree with you, come in and hit the ground running. Why? Well, he's not a 20-year-old. He's a 26, 27-year-old who's just won midfielder of the year in Serie A. So I think there was a lot of expectations coming. There wasn't any expectation on Ryan Knight-Nora to come in and start hit the ground running, or Ryan Cherki to hit the ground running, or Huzanov to hit the ground running. These are young players, unexperienced players that have not played at that top level, elite level. Cherki has, to some degrees, obviously played Champions League and that, but you know what I'm saying. And when we signed Reinders, I was like, yeah, this guy should just come in and it's obviously taken a little bit longer. The thing for me, and actually this is what I was really happy with his performance on Saturday. I felt that during the season at times, he sort of is a little bit passive on the pitch, and in terms of he doesn't go and grab the game and go and ask for the ball. He almost just waits for the ball to come to him and sort of like lets everybody else do it. And, oh, I've got the ball, I'll do something now. And I'm like, nah, you're meant to be the guy in the midfield. You're fairly big money signing, 50 million quid. You're meant to go and get the ball and make things happen. And what I saw on Saturday, I felt like I saw a Reinders on Saturday that wanted to get on the ball more. Give me the ball, give me the ball. And he actually had a really good game. And I think that because he's very good on the ball, right? We all know that. I mean, look at the way he plays. He's very, very silky on the ball. That's probably the best word to describe him. Rarely gives it away. You know, excellent player. So get yourself on the ball a little bit more. Go and demand it. And I did feel like maybe it's just nerves. Maybe he's a little starstruck. I don't know what the situation is. But I did feel in the first couple of months of the season that there was games where he just like let the other players have the ball. It's like, wait for the ball to be received. I'm looking at him because I rate him to go and get the ball and make something happen. And I feel like I seen that on Saturday a little bit more from him. And obviously he got the goal. And yeah, I think he's done all right. You know what I mean? I think that if he can carry on playing like he did on Saturday, yeah, he does need to get better in the duels, and he's so weak. You know, when he gets stuck in, well, he doesn't get stuck in, but when he goes in for a challenge, he's very weak. So if he can hit the gym and just strengthen up a little bit, it'll be a top player. I still fully believe this guy's going to be a top level player for us, just because he's too good on the ball. He's too good as an actual football player not to. And I think we've seen signs of that during the season. Plenty, not just one game. We've seen it plenty of times during the season where he's been really good. So what I'm looking for now is consistency. Give me the fucking ball. I'm Tijani. Give me the ball. I'm going to make stuff happen and just get a little bit better off the ball in terms of those duels. I'm not asking you to become Nigel de Jong here, yeah. But like, if you can just win a few duels, then that's fine. But yeah, I think it's probably been a bit harsh, some people's opinions on him personally, but maybe they same sort of similar frame of mind as me, is that they just expected him to come in and cook from day one, and because that's not happened, everyone's been like, oh. But I think the signs are there. The positive signs are there, and unlike other players that we've signed in the past, which we've signed, and I've been like, nah, these are crap. Like I thoroughly believe that Tijani Reinders is an excellent footballer, so I have no real problems with it. So yeah, let's see how he gets on, man. But it's an interesting one, and we'll see how he develops.
It'll be interesting to see how does Pep view him or whoever the next City manager is, whatever. How does City view him longer term? Because I thought that we were signing him to be more of like an all-round midfield player who can maybe help out deep as well. But what we've seen, and it's no surprise because he is very good at going forwards, what we've seen so far in his City career is that he struggled a little bit when asked to play a little bit deeper, and whereas he's thrived more so when playing a bit more advanced, which isn't really ideal for squad balance because that's not. We've got lots of attacking central
we didn't really
players.
buy in for that, did we?
Yeah, exactly. So, and we're obviously linked with Anderson as well. So I don't know if that was the long-term plan or was the idea for Reinders to be that level of player. And
it probably also means, that Turkey is probably more limited to the wide position, because if you're going to play Foden in that position, yeah, and then if you're then saying Turkey's the second choice, well, that leaves Reinders as third choice, which is not really going to happen. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree. I think he's been better when he's played further up the pitch. You know what I mean? Which I'm very surprised at, because when I was watching him for AC Milan last year, because I did actually do quite a few AC Milan watch-alongs, so we were linked with him. I was like, yo, let me check him out. He was actually playing quite deep, as sort of like a Kovacic style, like gets the ball, drives forward with it, progresses the ball. And in the games that I watched, he very rarely crashed the box. He was actually he's more sort of like, how do you describe it? Sort of on the edge of the box, you know what I mean? Arriving late, but not really crashing the box in the games that I watch. Whereas this season, he's getting into the penalty area a lot. He's getting a lot of shots off. So yeah, a little bit different to what I saw last year. But yeah, I think he's a mega player. I think he's class, to be honest with you. And I think that he's not been shit or bad or crap. He's probably just been like underwhelming. Is probably the word that I'd say. But there's been signs. 100% have been signs that this guy's a top player. I think he will come good, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that also part of it is because in Serie A, this isn't a diss at the league, this is just a reality. Serie A is a far slower paced league than the Premier League. I don't think it's a surprise, therefore, that he's played better when he's had more space and time on the ball. I think he had a really good game against Dortmund as well. Again, the Champions League tends to be a bit of a slower paced competition than the Premier League as well. So maybe it is just also a case of getting up to speed with the tempo and with the intensity of the Premier League as well. And that is just something that will come with time. Shirky hasn't really had an issue therein. We're certain with the physicality level, because Liga is a very physical league. So it's not a problem for Shirky. He's able to ride those challenges because, again, Liga is deceptively physical. He's used to it. That's why I want us to sign more players from Liga. Like, I feel like before like Shirky and Doku, we've rarely accessed that league as much as we perhaps should have done.
Bernardo and Mendy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Mendy, of course, there were issues there. But like Bernardo, fantastic. Even though he's like short and slight, he's still able to ride all those challenges. And that probably is because of the time in Liga. So it's a fantastic league for talent, as City are now seeing.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. You know what? Just quickly before we move on, on the Reinders thing, you talk about the pace of the game. I think if he becomes a player that I want him to do, which is demand the ball, as I said before, I think sometimes there's been games where he's let the game pass him by and just let the ball, just stand over here and let the ball, instead of, like you're saying, then Cherky goes and demands it, doesn't he? Cherky goes and gets the ball. Give me the fucking ball. I think if you do that, naturally, I feel like the pace of your play is going to go up, because, if I'm standing around, waiting for the ball to come into my feet, it by definition, it's more of a passive play, and it's a slower bit of play. I want to get the ball, and then, before I know it, I'm going back because I've not been. If you go and demand the ball, give me the fucking ball, boom, receive it, turn. Like, I feel like just by doing that, you're going to be quicker in your play anyway, because you're demanding the ball. You're not going to go and demand the ball and just get it and then just chill, are you? You know what I mean? You're going to go and get it and fucking make some shit happen. So, Yeah, let's see what happens, man. But yeah, I think he's shown good signs, to be honest with you. Listen, I want to get onto some transfer talk before we wrap the show up, because obviously the transfer window opens in 10 days, and City are looking at the market, if you believe the rumours. Big up to Benles. We'll start off with this. Not sure how people are turning down Semenyo. Besides Haaland and Doku, we don't have that physical power outlet. He's a better striker than Mamouche as well. He scored again at the weekend. I think that's his 8th goal of the season. His 8th goal. He's got 3 assists as well. So, I mean, if I look at his Premier League record since he started, in his first season, he got 8 goals, 3 assists. In his second season, last year, he got 11 goals, 6 assists. And this season, he's already on 8 goals, 3 assists. So he's already matched the goals and assists from his first season in the Premier League. And we're in December. Where are you at with this? People don't want him. People do want him. Do you want him? Would you think this is a good move?
It's hard because I don't know. I feel like I don't normally sit on the fence. I feel like I normally have a pretty assertive take regardless, but that's a silly thing to say though. For example, that's objectively incorrect. That comment there, that's bad. He is a good player. There's no doubt about it. There's lots of reasons why City could use his traits, which I think we discussed before, but just to repeat them, he is homegrown. Makes sense. We've got a lot of non-homegrown players. We're going to have to access that homegrown market. There's a reason why we're being linked with Anderson, Wharton, Gibbs White, Semenyo, etc. They're all homegrown. He can play right wing and left wing, and he doesn't mind playing right wing or left wing either. So you're not going to have a problem there. And he can also play down the middle as well. As that super chat said, which was a very good comment, he is a physical power outlet as well. And right now it's out wide, and right now it's only Doku realistically who can be that player for us. I'm a Savio defender. I do like Savio, but he can't be an outlet in the way that Doku is or that Semenyo is. He's fantastic at running into those channels and picking balls off the goalkeeper. So if now all of a sudden, if a team presses us high from our goal kicks and we have to go long, what we're doing right now, we're playing it to Haaland and we're hoping that he can do it because no one else can win the ball in the air in our front line. You play Semenyo there, who's in like the top 1% for aerials won, compared to other wingers across Europe, you're going to have a good time. I can't remember his height exactly. I think he's 6 foot something, maybe.
Oh, yeah. The guy's tall, mate. He's a fucking unit, bro. I'll be real.
Yeah. Exactly. So that is a massively underrated asset, I think. He's also got really good defensive work off ball. And we know scoring goals this season has not actually been the problem for us. We're pretty darn good at scoring goals. We've scored the most by a fair margin, but the out of possession work could be better. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but bringing in Semenyo, a winger, would definitely improve City's out of possession work as well. So that's really good to see. There are concerns. So of course there are. He's doing very well for Bournemouth, and I don't think it's a problem that he's a bit of a late bloomer because we've seen other players be late bloomers as well. How does that translate across to Manchester City? I think it definitely could do. I'm not going to say that, he barely plays against low blocks, therefore it can't happen, because this is an extreme example, but Haaland wasn't playing low blocks for Dortmund, and he's doing quite good at scoring goals against low blocks. I know that's an extreme example, but just because a team doesn't necessarily come up against a play style all the time doesn't mean it's therefore impossible for that player to succeed against them.
Yeah, you actually don't know, innit? How many times do Bournemouth play against a low block?
Yeah, it's not common. And of course, he is very good on the transition and the counter-attack. But I don't see why he still can't be a useful asset in game states that City play as well. There are other concerns as well. In my opinion, he's better at left wing. I think that's where his best performances have been. We don't need a left winger. We need more. We realistically need more of like a right winger, I guess, because we've got Doku there. Unless you're saying goodbye to Marmoush, in which case perhaps it's a different conversation to be had. That'll be a bit shocking, considering he's only been here for less than a year. And then speaking on Marmoush, there are concerns about what does it mean for Marmoush if he's brought in on the left. What might spell the end of him. What does it mean just from a minutes perspective across the rest of the squad? Is one player in, one player out going to be enough? Do you have to get rid of 2 players in order to accommodate Semenyo in the minutes that he would need? He's also more of a goal scorer than a creator. Is that an issue or is that a positive? There are lots of questions. I don't think this is a clear-cut signing, and I'm sorry to sit on the fence here, but I don't think that this is, he's going to be a slam dunk signing, get him in. or nah, it's going to be a terrible signing. Don't do that. I don't think either camp is necessarily correct, and I apologize for sitting in the middle because I don't normally do that. But I think this is one of those where I do have a lot of questions about it. But if we signed him, I'd be happy because I think he's a very good player, and I like the player a lot. That's a long-winded way to say I don't know. I apologize.
It's all right. I'll give you an answer. I think we should sign him.
Nice.
I think we should. And the reason is, mate, I got to get your take on this, right? I think Bob is going to leave in January on loan. Yeah. I think he needs to play.
I can definitely see that, yes.
Yeah, I think he needs to play football. I think he needs to play week in, week out. He needs to get his fitness levels up. He needs to get his confidence levels up. That's not going to happen at City because we can't give him those guaranteed minutes because that's not how it works at his football club. Yeah. And when you're coming back off that injury, I think he needs to play. So I think he's going to be loaned out. Yeah. And then we're going to get Semenyo in for 65 million. I think that could be when I say it could be the difference between us winning the league and not winning the league, it sounds like I'm trying to make it sound like he's like Messi. I'm not trying to make it. What I'm talking about is, I still think our attack is quite light in the sense like you've looked at just what's happened with Doku. He's got injured, and everyone's like, "Shit, what do we do now? What do we do now?" I think if you bring Semenyo in, he can be cover on the right, he can be cover on the left. Yeah, because everyone's talking about Mamouche ain't playing right now.
I think when people are talking about Marmouche, though, I think they're talking more about like the long term, so next season and the season after that.
No, I agree. I hear it, and potentially that can work. But if I'm talking about this season, there's an opportunity this season to win the league, and I think that it could be the difference between us. Because the thing is, as well, like I think we realise it. You can't spam out Doku, mate, every game. You can't. He'll just get injured. You'll ruin him. So you're going to have to be careful with what you do there. And I think you bring him in on the left-hand side, he can offer you similar traits to what Doku can offer you. Not 100%, but he can offer you similar things in that sort of like strength, the ability to get the ball forward, drive forward, carry the ball forward and pull the team up the pitch. As you said, he can play off the left or the right. I just think this is a signing that we need to make. And it doesn't stop you from going big in the summer if you so want, because you can get rid of Savio in the summer. If he doesn't improve, yeah, you could potentially get rid of him if you wanted to. I'm not saying you have to, but if he doesn't improve, you get to the end of the season, you could move him on, and then you can still bring in another winger. Yeah, it doesn't limit you in the summer to go and get another winger if that's what the club wanted to do. Yeah. So for me, I would make this signing. He's prem proven. He can get you output. He's strong. I think that's another attribute that we really need in this team. I still think there are times when we look a little bit weak. You know, he's certainly not weak. Probably the strongest guy in our team, to be honest. But I personally would do this. I'm not like, oh yeah, get him on the back of my shirt, mega Semenyo, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I'm not like that. But I'm like, I think this is a clever signing from the football club to sign him. And to be honest, yeah, he doesn't go straight into my starting 11. Yeah, he's a bench player. Right. He's a rotational player, but he'll play a lot. Because I would not be spamming out Doku on that left-hand side. I'd be very careful with him because I don't want him to get all these injuries. That means Semenyo's going to get a lot of games on the left. And at the moment, he'd probably be second choice right winger behind Cherky, and Savio's probably dropped to third choice. That's just based off of form this season. And then, as I say, you get to the end of the season, you make a decision on Savio. Do you keep him for another year? Cool. If you do, you do. You don't sign another winger. Has he not improved? All right, you move him on potentially, and then you bring in another one. So I would. Now, where that leaves Omar Mamouche, I don't know. But Omar Mamouche has not played well since the back end of last season. That's the truth. He had a bad Club World Cup, if we're being honest. Yeah, he didn't play well in the Club World Cup, and he's not played a lot. But he's not really played well this year when he's been given the opportunity either. If we're being honest, he's not played that well. People are just. Yeah, he's not played, but he's not actually played that well since the back end of last season. Now, should he be playing more? Probably, but you tell me why Pep's only giving him 1 minute every game.
It's tricky, and I think that would be the biggest potential negative of the Semenyo signing. Well, I guess it depends how you view our current players. If you view Marmouche as, I don't think he's that good, I don't care if he goes, then bringing in Semenyo isn't a problem at all. The way I'm looking at it is, I don't actually care necessarily. I do think that two players would have to make way for Semenyo to basically fit from a more medium term perspective, whether that's Bob and Marmouche, whether it's Bob and Savio, or a combination therein, I'm not sure. I'm not even saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying it's probably a thing, given how much game time these players would probably expect to play. Because we know that Semenyo's got a lot of options on his plate in January, and he could, if you wanted to, go to a side where he's probably guaranteed to be more of a main man and more of a starter. And I think we both agree that he shouldn't really be that at City. He's a good player, but I don't want him starting over Doku at left wing. If Shirky's playing at right wing, more so, I don't want him starting over Shirky either. I'd like him to be an option who can fill in and start occasionally and can rotate and that sort of thing. So it depends how he views himself, I guess, and his own game expectation. If he's happy to come in and be a squad player, then I've got zero problem with it, I suppose. It's just more so, is he coming in thinking, I need guaranteed starts, like I need at least 25 Premier League starts, otherwise I'm kicking off and I'm making a fuss. That would be a question that I would have, and it's obviously hard. We don't know what player expectation is, but there's no doubt that Semenyo coming in, let's say it is just in the short term a straight swap, Bob and Semenyo, there's no doubt that's an upgrade, obviously.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's probably expected more than 50 minutes of Premier League football in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. That's probably my expectation.
Is that Marmouche?
Marmouche, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the thing. But the problem is, where do you get him into the team? That's a problem. You can't get him into the team. You can't play him left wing at the moment.
Sorry, is this Marmouche or Semenyo?
Marmouche. You can't get him into the team because you can't play him left wing because Doku's fucking cooking.
You can't play him anywhere. He's at AFCON.
Well, yeah, you can't play at the moment. You can't play him anywhere. Right wing. All right, okay. We've not seen that much of it. When we did see it, it didn't look great. Could you try him again? But again, he's going to be behind Cherky anyway, so he's going to be second choice right winger. Could you play him as sort of like attacking midfielder, second striker position? Possibly, but then where do you play Foden? And again, Foden are probably better in that position, and probably Cherky might be even better in the position. So he's a very good footballer. Don't get me wrong, like top footballer. And to be honest, we probably don't get top 4 without him last year. Yeah, that's the truth. But like based on the current situation, based on the current players that are at this football club, yeah, I think he's got a really tricky time to get in the team. And that's fucking obvious because look at his minutes. Like I say, he's not played 50 minutes, mate, in the last 8 Premier League matches that he's been available. So let's see, man. It'd be disappointing if he leaves because he's a good footballer. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I won't blame him if he decided that, you know what, I've done a year and I just can't get in this team. And I know it's a unique situation because he is a very good footballer. We don't want him to leave, but he's just not getting game time. And I don't see. Do you see that changing unless Haaland gets injured? I don't see it changing. You know what I mean? And again, that's nothing on him specifically. It's more the fact that Doku and fucking Cherky are cooking.
Yeah, I think he has been the victim of circumstance to a degree because he got injured, did he, relatively early in the season, and then Doku came in, and Doku played fantastically well. So by the time Marmouche came back from injury, we can't drop Doku because he's been one of our best players this season. Doku gets injured, and he's off to AFCON. So, and when Marmouche comes back from AFCON, Doku will probably be back and from his injury. So the timeline was really going against him in that sense. And that's just really unfortunate because he would be playing in Doku's position, basically, starting at left wing, but O'Reilly pushes up and he actually plays more in like a left-sided attacking midfielder or like a left inside forward, whatever term you want to use. That's probably the best utilization of him because he's not like Doku who can play out and out touchline winger. If you play Marmouche out wide, outright, you're not going to have a very good time. He's not that sort of player. If you play him outright as a number 9 without Haaland, you're not going to have the best time either. So, and this was something that I said when we did sign him. I was like, I really like the player. I just don't really know where he fits because Frankfurt played a very specific style of play and a very specific system that got the best out of Marmouche. He played as one of 2 strikers in like a 3-5-2, I think it was. We're obviously never going to play like that. He was playing as more of like a second striker off Ekitike, and again off the left side, and we were never going to play like that. So there were question marks as to how it would work, and it's been unfortunate for him that Doku's been so fantastic. And if you do sign Semenyo, is that the final nail in the Marmoush coffin? I don't know. Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. It's a shame because I think most people actually like him as a player. I do.
I really like him. He became my favorite player last season. Like,
and
really
we probably
quickly.
don't get top 4 without him, you know. I know, obviously, like O'Reilly come in and he done well. You could say the same about him, but I don't think we've got the goals in the team. Without him, I don't know if we had the goals in the team, man, to get top 4. So
yeah, he's a shooter, shoot. But so is Semenyo.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him, lads. All right, boys, let's see what else we're going on in the chat before we wrap it up, man. Mike says, I think Omar would sign up as a backup to Erling. Maybe, but then was he told that? Is he happy with that? Maybe he is. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe in January.
Yeah,
maybe
it can't just be a backup, though, can it? Because, I mean, it doesn't suit his play style either. But I know that those wages that go around aren't especially helpful, but we know that he's going to be on a lot of money. I don't know what the exact amount is, but he's going to be on a lot of money. There's no way he signed
K plus. 100%.
Yeah, there's no way he signed just a backup for that level of money. I don't buy that. Surely the long-term goal was to have him play alongside Haaland, and that would be to his benefit because then he's got an actual striker to work off. Yeah,
because
that's exactly
remember,
right.
You got to remember this year when we signed him, Doku wasn't doing what Doku's doing now.
Yes,
Doku wasn't cooking like he is now. So when City signed him in January, they probably thought, "Oh, we might bring him in, play him," because obviously, like Pep's obviously playing Doku a little bit more in field a lot this year.
Yes. You
could probably play Marmoush. Is it his best position? Maybe not, but you could probably get away with that playing him in that position, right? But obviously, then, as Nobbin said, Marmoush ain't got that knee injury when he was away with Egypt, right? So basically, I'm saying is City probably thought Marmoush number 1, Doku number 2. That's probably what we thought, right? I think that was pretty reasonable back in January, yeah, because they say Doku wasn't cooking or whatever. That's fine, but then Marmoush then got injured. Doku come in, and Doku's just gone boom. To the point now where when he's not in the starting 11, people are going, shit. You know what I mean? This is not good. No Doku. That's a problem. Yeah, I mean, that's congratulations to Jeremy Doku. All praise to him on that one, yeah, because he's... But then Marmoush came in as a starter. I can't see Marmoush coming into Manchester City in January as a squad rotational player. He's coming into Manchester City as a starter, and now he's been dropped as to a squad rotator, and it's Doku who now is the starter. Yeah, that's all well and good, but what does that do for Marmoush? Because he can't really get in the team anywhere else other than that attacking midfield position. But the attacking midfield position, yeah, you'd rather have a Foden in there or a Cherky in there. Yeah, you just wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, again, I like Marmoush. His first touch is nowhere near good enough to play. Because people have said, could he play as a 10? His first touch is nowhere near clean enough to do that, I'm afraid. He couldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens, man. Obviously, like I say, will he go in January? I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he went in January, you know, but
I think that if we signed Semenyo, my prediction would be that we would, I think you said it before, you probably loan out Bob / probably just maybe even move him on in the summer, I'm not sure. And then they all stick around for one season, and it's sort of like a survival of the fittest situation. Like, okay, who's going to earn? And this is how, and realistically, this is how it should be in football, obviously, at this level. It's earn your spots. No one's given anything for free. He'll have a year where he's like, okay, can I actually get into the side ahead of Semenyo, ahead of Doku, whatever? If he can, he'll stay. If more likely he cannot, then perhaps he leaves in 2020. What year would that be? 2027? Is that the summer they're in? Is probably what I would guess. That would be that's a more medium term thing, because he'd be at the age, wouldn't he, where he's like, I don't know how old he is now. Is he 27? What, 29? He needs to be playing consistently at that point.
He's 27.
He's 20. All right, yeah. So he'll be like 28, 29. That's the year where you need to be playing consistently. You're in your physical prime. And if he's not playing enough, you'd suspect that he would go at that point.
Yeah. All right, cool. Rare Nobby. He's on every Monday, mate. It's not rare. If you come to the show every Monday, 11 a.m. We're live.
Yeah, I'm also very frequent on my own channel, in fairness.
He also has his own channel.
You may be surprised to hear.
All right, sweet, mate. I think we'll leave it there. I can't talk about Nunes, bro. I've got to go on. I'm on with Saeed now, mate. But
if you want Nunes content, I uploaded an analysis video of Nunes yesterday. There you go, problem solved.
What are the chances, mate? It's almost like someone would say this is a plant, like we planted it, but it
Crazy.
wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
I'm paying him off. That brown envelope is doing business, doing bits.
Big up, man. But yeah, you got some videos coming out this week, aren't you? Over the Christmas period. What you got? You got any ideas? What you got for us?
Yeah, so there'll of course be a Nottingham Forest tactical preview out on Boxing Day, so stay tuned for that. But I think that there'll also be an Ask Nobbins installment, which I'll try to get uploaded on Christmas Day. So if you've got any questions for me, whether it's tactical or about City or just about anything, then leave it in like the comments of my most recent Ask Nobbins video, and I will see if I can incorporate it into a video.
Cool. Big up to you. Big up to Ben Les says, in my opinion, I think they've realised they can't platform Marmoush because he's not a striker. He's a second striker or left inside. Problem is his touch is bad and Doku's better. So they realise the menu gives you more options.
A costly error, if that is the case. A lot of money sunk into Marmoush.
Yeah, but if you consider the fact that we might not have got Champions League football without him.
Yeah.
And if you were to sell him, I don't imagine you'd lose too much money because we got him for a steal anyway. We paid 60 million.
It was that all it was. I thought it was a bit more than that. Yeah.
I know, I'm sure it was 60 mil. Because I remember when we signed him, I was like, fucking hell, that's cheap. Because at the time he was top of all the stats, wasn't he, in Germany? I'm sure it was 60 mil. So if you sell him, I don't think you'd lose much money on that. I think you'd probably get your money back, to be honest with you. Maybe even more. I mean, Tottenham were going to pay 70 million for Savio. So yeah, I don't think it's costly error because you got Champions League football and you probably get your money back if you sell him. So yeah, there you go. But let's see what happens on that Semenyo thing. Apparently, chat, yeah, they're saying that if you're going to get his release clause, it's got to be within the first 10 days of January. That's the rumor. So it'll be quite a quick deal if you do get Semenyo. Yeah, 60 million. It might be 65 million they're saying for Semenyo. And let's see what happens, man. But yeah, if it was me personally, I would sign it. Big up Ben Les. I appreciate the super chat, man. Right, sweet. Nah, we didn't discuss it, man. He basically deaded the whole story anyway in the presser.
It's nonsense. It's probably come from like Maresca's camp, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
What I said. I said it's probably come from Maresca's camp, to be honest with you, because Maresca's not happy at Chelsea as he's started fucking.
Yeah.
But there you go. Sweet. All right, guys. Well, listen, make sure you guys smash up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well. If you guys are new, check out Nobbins' video on Matheus Nunes. It got released yesterday. Yeah. I want to know what he's saying, man. You know what I mean? I want to see what he's saying. But yeah, I'm going over to Sai's channel. So if you want to come over there, come over there. If not, have a great day. Nobbins, have a great Christmas to you and your missus. And I'll see you next year.